today we're going to clean my car because it is really, really, really dirty and he's not happy about it. So today we're actually going to use some iDetail.
No, you missed, that's not what it's called.
It is?
It's called iDetail Pro.
Oh, iDetail Pro and some Specky. Let's get to it. What's wrong with that?
I love it. That's exactly what I want. That's perfect.
Okay.
Alright, so here is the state of the car. As you can see, the front end is relatively clean. So it's been driving into the rain and it's been sort of clearing it off. However, when you get to the sides of the car, you can see the tires and the wheels are filthy. So is the left door. The left side of the car is always the dirtiest. So it really is looking a bit worse for wear. Also, the rear of the car here, that black plastic section below, is really looking a bit sorry for itself. The driver's side is less so, and you can see signs of beading and watermarks from that. So there was some protection on here, but most of it has now gone. You can see there even some spray pattern, some whatever's been in the water. It's collected around the screen wash nozzles there, around the wing mirror, dripping down from that. So we're moving on to the very first stage, the pre-rinse. This is to knock off any loose dirt and debris from the car to make sure that the safe wash can be carried out. And that's to make sure basically that all of the loose debris is carried off the car before we ever make physical contact with it. You can see the wheels there after getting a rinse down are still a bit dirty, so there's more work to be done there. While Natalie is doing the pre-rinse, I've got Bear Car Care's Obliterate All-Purpose Cleaner here, mixed into one of their dilution bottles, which is very kind of them to send this. And the dilution ratio, hang on, there's a bit of a fight here because Natalie's spraying me. The dilution ratio in this bottle is 150 milliliters of product and the rest of water in that 500 ml bottle. That is a very strong dilution ratio, but I'll be knocking it down later in the video. And I'm making sure to spray it over relatively liberally because I don't want it to dry out. As you can see, it's a sunny and windy day. So while Natalie comes to rinse off this, I'm going around the rest of the car to spray on the areas that she's pre-rinsed. We're using this as an alternative to snow foam because I didn't feel that snow foam was necessary in this case. An all-purpose cleaner can definitely be used in the pre-wash process. Now for the wheels and tires, again, I'm using the Obliterate on the tires at the same dilution ratio as before, 150 ml in that bottle. And we're sharing products here, so you'll see them be flung off screen. And there's the Wheel Cleaner Plus from iDetail Pro. And this is a very runny, very watery wheel cleaner. Not entirely sure what that's about. It's a lot thinner than I'm used to using, but it does spray and mist across the wheel relatively well. Now to scrub the tires, I'm going to reapply the Obliterate All-Purpose Cleaner on there. This is the SGCB tire scrubbing brush. This is for scrubbing down your sidewalls of your tires, and it's an excellent brush. It's a really, really good one. I paid for this myself and I'm really happy with it. I do find it to be better than the Tough Shine brush, which Natalie is using on the other tire. You can see there the foam has come up brown. That means that we've been able to pull out a bunch of grime there. Now I'm spraying the wheel cleaner onto this barrel brush, getting deep into the barrels. You can see it's not super duper foamy. I've also got a bucket of water off to the side there to rinse out my tools. And yes, it does clean it up. Moving on to the Vican face brush, another douse of wheel cleaner on there. And this is about as foamy as it gets. Don't let that distract you. Foaminess is not always a sign of the cleaner's abilities. We're rinsing off here at low pressure to show how much cleaning has actually been done and how much is left after the rinse off. And that wheel is looking pretty nifty. Now, just to be on the safe side, I always like to make sure my tires are as clean as possible before applying a tire dressing. So I'm hitting the tires one more time with the APC and scrubbing over. You can see here that the foam is white. White foam means that there's no more dirt or grime left in it. So that's ready for dressing later. Here we're working together as a team to do the front and rear tires, and in this case I diluted down the all-purpose cleaner to 50 milliliters of product into 450 milliliters of water, and honestly it did exactly the same job. We were really happy with this APC. Great teamwork going on here, throwing products back and forth and getting the job done in half the time. And honestly, it's great fun working with Natalie. When she is interested in doing something with me on the car, I really enjoy doing them together. We always have a good laugh. Now for the shampoo, this is the iDetail Pro Foaming Shampoo. The instructions state you have to use 2 capfuls in a bucket. No mention of how big that bucket is. 2 capfuls isn't a lot. I didn't measure it out, but these are relatively small caps. I'm going to guess maybe around about 10 milliliters to 15 milliliters per capful. You can see there it's sinking to the bottom of the bucket, which means it's not getting worked around into the water properly. So as you can see, I'm eager to get the pressure washer in there. Once Natalie stops faffing around, just get the cap on the bottle. Get your pressure washer into the bucket, switch it on, let it distribute around the water, mix it up properly, then pull it out and blast some air in there, and you'll start to get foam. And that's filled up with lots of foam right now. So on to the wash, and the shampoo was very foamy to start with, definitely. There was also a little bit of slickness in there. Not loads. I was using a wash pad from Detailed Online. Natalie was using a noodle wash mitt from Simon Eyes. And we work our way around the car together, and I did remark at how foamy this shampoo is. However, it doesn't stay like that. And we'll see that when we get round to the other side of the car. Now here I wanted to make sure that I rinsed off the car because I didn't want any of these suds to dry because it's the sunny side of the car. However, there's another issue here. She forgot to do a bit. She forgot a bit. She pays the price. No. 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 It's on the ground.
You should know the catch.
Honestly, we're a pair of big kids together. So after Natalie switched over to a different wash mitt, you'll see here that the suds, I was really agitating that water, and the suds just weren't carrying anymore. The suds were starting to disappear, and so was any slickness that may have been there before. It's a bit disappointing, this. Half a car is not enough for suds. Now this is where we're going to be testing the sealant, the hydrophobic spray sealant. This is a spray-on, rinse-off product. And yes, I agree, Natalie's spraying technique leaves a little bit to be desired. She's threatening to spray it in my face right now because I'm pointing out this very thing. So, spraying on, and you are supposed to leave it for 30 seconds. However, not everybody reads the instructions. So in this situation, we're not going to let it dwell for the full 30 seconds. And spraying it to rinse off here with a pressure washer. Well, you can see for yourself. It's actually quite poor. It's very slow at sheeting. It's very slow to react. It doesn't really show up on here with the camera because, well, the light color cars never do show it, but lots of water was sticking to the panel still. So we tried again on the back door, and this time made sure to get a good spray on there. This is where my big strong muscles come in. Give it a really good strong spray, and we do leave it for 30 seconds to dwell. You can see I'm speeding up the time here now, letting it dwell for longer to see if that has an impact. And 30 seconds later, it does look more impressive here, but it's harder to show up on the camera. There is a lot of water sticking to the bottom of the panel. It is a very slow hydrophobic product. Now in comparison, this is Detailed Online's Nano Sealant, and this one is one of my go-to products for when I'm in a hurry. It has a better spray pattern on it there. It's able to get across the panel, and you don't have to wait for this product to do anything, but we give it about 5 to 10 seconds before going in and rinsing it off, and you'll see the speed difference of the beading, the sheeting, the water repellency. And you can see where it kind of foams up white. That is normal behavior for most of these spray on rinse off products. That didn't happen with the iDetail Pro product. You can see there, the panel wants to dry itself. It's very, very much beaded. And the door to the right there has already had the iDetail Pro Hydrophobic Sealant applied to it. You can see a big difference there. The iDetail Pro is still holding on to a lot of water. So what we did here to test it was put one spray of the Detailed Online sealant onto the panel, one onto this very soft microfiber, and just wiped over to see if there was a difference here. Just a very small thin spread. And there you go. An enormous difference between the iDetail Pro product. This side is better to see it in the dark. You can actually see more of where the water is hanging onto the panel. And the Detailed Online Nano Sealant is doing a much better job. Now this is Drifter Tire Gel from Bear Car Care. This is the tire dressing that I'm going to be using on the tires. I've got an old piece of packing foam. If you ever get things like this from deliveries, they're great for applying dressings onto your tires. It's a gel-based product, it's relatively thick, and then you drop your piece of foam. So you go and get another one and start again. Now because it's gel-based, it's a little bit on the thick side. It requires more effort to spread it around and make sure you get into all those little grooves in the tire. I don't know what they're there for, but they're really annoying. But as long as you take your time and do a good job, a good even spread, the product does say that you can wipe off any excess, but I like to use a little bit less and make sure it goes as far as possible. And what we were left with was a shiny clean car with a mixture combination of different protection products. But there's the tire looking nice, the paint is looking clean and shiny at least, and the wheel is clean.
So today I've cleaned my car while he's done nothing.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking.
Totally nothing at all, darling. Yeah.
I'm joking. He did one wheel.
Yeah. What? No, I did two wheels. Shut up. We took an even share. So the drawbacks. I'm gonna have to share your microphone here, okay?
That's okay.
So the drawbacks that we had, we did run into a couple of issues. I say a couple. One was, let me reach the products here. Pass me over that blue bottle there at the back. Yeah, that one there, and also the one we just had, the yellow one down there. Okay, so a couple of issues. The foaming shampoo, it was very foaming to start with, but that foaming tailed off quite quickly. And I did notice, and I mentioned it while we were doing the job. Wow, this is really foamy to start with. But once we got a third of the way around the car, the foam sort of tailed off and disappeared and it needed agitation. So although they say it's a foaming shampoo, it's not super foaming. And I have soft water here, so it may be a different story for you. Maybe you need to use more. 2 capfuls is a relatively small amount for a big bucket of shampoo. So perhaps it needs to be a little bit more for the amount of water you're using, because I don't believe it actually tells you how much water. Again, this is one of my bugbears. They don't say how much water. It simply says 2 capfuls, but in a bucket of warm water. But how big is your bucket? That's one of my issues. If it's a really large bucket, you might need to double it up or just add a bit more, we'll see. Then the Hydra sealant. This just wasn't that impressive at all. Now, Natalie...
Even I mentioned this.
Yeah, Natalie doesn't normally care. She doesn't normally spot these kind of things. However, even Natalie said, for a hydrophobic product, it's not the most hydrophobic product she's ever seen. Yes, it did some slow sheeting. There was some protection there. So we've got to be fair about it. It did something, but it wasn't impressive. Compared to some others out there, it really wasn't that impressive. So I was a little bit let down with that. I would say this would be more of a topper if you already have a base protection, but to try and use this as a base protection, it's not really going to last you much time. That being said, however, the all-purpose cleaner, oh, you've got it, look at that. Oh, you're very clever, aren't you? You're good, aren't you? She's been paying attention. This all-purpose cleaner, the Obliterate from Bear Car Care, was really good.
I really
like
this one.
Yeah, that was powerful, and we took it down, and it was still powerful. It was even more diluted, and it was still a good cleaner. So I'm really happy with that one. And the Drifter Tire Gel is a very nice product to use. It lasts a decent amount of time. I've used it before, and I still really like it. So, thank you very much to I nearly forgot the names there. Bear Car Care and iDetail Pro for sending these down to let us give them a try, see how they go. The car is definitely looking much nicer than it was beforehand. Anyway, if you enjoyed our messing around, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and smash that like button. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and while you're there, make sure you ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. In the meantime, I've been Specky.
And I've been Natalie.
Yes, you got it right this time. I will see you in the next video.